You were voted in a recent poll, it was a poll both on the internet but also among parliamentary press here in Holland, as the most popular politician in Holland. Why?
Well, this is something you should never say about yourself, and so I have to be modest about that, but I don't know. I think that the poll was within the group of journalists and within the public. And I think within the public, people respect that at least there is one political group in Parliament headed by a politician who is not afraid to say what he thinks. And a lot of people in Holland, we are, once again, we are not xenophobes or racists, but we want to stay proud of the identity that we have, which is not being an Islamic country with Islamic values. And people are fed up with the crime, with the taxes they have to pay for the unemployment, with everything that goes along with this Islamization of the Netherlands. So they feel that at least there is somebody who says our culture is better and let's stop the immigration and let's work on the problems that we have and try to also help the people that are already here to assimilate, but according to our rules, not to their rules. Then for the journalists who are mostish very leftish in my country, unfortunately, I believe most of them really don't like me too much, but at least they respect the fact that, I make sure that there is a debate, at least in the Netherlands, that in the last year there is some discussion in the parliament, and that we with our party with 9 seats out of 150 seats in total, which I'm very proud of, but it's not we are not the biggest party, we are the 5th largest party in the Dutch parliament, are dominating on many issues the political discussion in the Netherlands. And I think even journalists respect that, even though most of them are left and don't really appreciate what I have to say.
Right, the murder of Pim Fortuyn has to be on your mind. Others driven out of the country because of security. I assume you still have a phalanx of security around you, correct?
Yeah.
What is it like to live that way?
Well, it's something that you really would not wish your worst enemy to have. They are all friendly persons and guys, of course, but it's like losing your own freedom. You are not free to move around or to have a private life or to really have any aspect of freedom in your life now for 3.5 years almost. But still, you do not hear me complain, even though I hate such a kind of life, especially in my personal life. But
you're living with the threat of death.
Yes, and all the security surrounding that. But I have really the adrenaline through my veins. Is really the fact that I feel a lot of support within my country to really make a change, be proud of our identity, not be a xenophobe or racist, but speaking out against the ideology that is really threatening everything in the West that we stand for. But
all the costs, all the government attention to protect you as an individual, wouldn't it make sense just to temper what you're saying a little bit, just to be a little bit more careful with the comments you make about a broad swath of population out there?
Well, thank you very much for your personal concern, but the answer would be no, sir, because if I would do that, if I would moderate my voice, or maybe stop talking like that at all, then the people who are not using democratic means, but undemocratic means like death threats that I'm getting every day, those people would win. And in a democracy, if you are against somebody, you use your freedom of speech, go and debate, write an article, go vote for a party that thinks differently. This is democracy. This is civil society. This is everything that should be done in a democracy. So if I would stop saying what I really think, and once again, more than 500,000 people voted on my party and on me personally. So I also have an obligation to the voters that expect this from me. And I believe in it. And if I would not do that, I would not only play a nasty game to my voters, but I would also give a signal to everybody who says, if you say what we don't like, we will kill you, behead you, or whatever, do terrible things with you, that they are winning. That they are winning. And they will never, as long as I live, at least win from me.
So where do you see things going? Where do you see things going in Holland and Europe between Christianity versus the Islam faith? I mean, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic?
No, I'm from nature. I'm very optimistic, and this is that unlike everything, I will stay very optimistic. But to be honest, if you look at the majority of the politicians in the Netherlands, but unfortunately in many more countries in my continent, I'm very pessimistic. I'm very pessimistic in a way that I believe that the political elite is not wakening up, is putting their head under the carpet, that the distinction, the gap between the Vox Populi and the political elite is only growing more, which will be also destabilizing factor in many European countries. And as long as the political elite doesn't take the questions, the threats, the problems of large parts of their constituents seriously, I'm very negative. Europe is getting in the wrong direction entirely. We are.
But don't you see even mainstream politicians shifting a little bit towards your side? I mean, in terms of immigration, security.
No. I mean, listen. Our new government is just here 1 year. One of the most important things, at least that's what I claim myself, what they did, is what we call a general pardon, a general pardon, which means that they legalized almost 30,000 illegal people who often already went to 2 or 3 courts, were denied a permit because they were mere lying about their application to stay in Holland as an asylum seeker or any other cause. And they were just legalized, like Spain did a couple of years ago, even with higher numbers.
But so now Holland has some of the toughest immigration laws of Europe.
Come on, we have no tough immigration law at all. I mean, if you want to get your spouse from Morocco, she will have to do a small test from 5 minutes that she knows that Beatrix is not the King of Norway. I mean, this is something like a test that they have to do and say 3 words which are not French, but Dutch. I mean, this is not strong immigration. If you look at the numbers from last year, they are almost as high as they were from the numbers from the year before. And they are, even when it comes to asylum seekers, they are even growing again. So don't let them fool you. This is not true. We are not stopping immigration at all, and we are still, unfortunately, cultural relatives to the bone, and the government is still playing politically correct, and the large amount of people who live in my country are fed up with it. And if they don't really take them seriously, not only my party will grow, I'm sure they won't like that, but my party will grow, but it will bring the country to a more destable position than stable position, which of course is not good. You should solve the problems if they are real, and they are real.